All right, this is going to be another unscripted, um, not rant, but just me rambling off some of my thoughts about how feminists actually hate female characters. They hate feminine characters. They wreck great characters and they produce crap characters. Um, the example that I will show today is She-Hulk. And I'll probably also probably talk a little bit about Leia, Princess Leia as well. Maybe I put that in a separate video. I don't know yet. But in the case of She-Hulk, the thing that people who are not familiar with She-Hulk may not know is that She-Hulk is nothing like her cousin Bruce Banner. She's nothing like the original Hulk. She-Hulk was, I think, her title, the sensational She-Hulk, really summed up pretty nicely what she was about. Um, she was about being a fun character. She was not as angsty as Bruce was about his his situation because his transformation caused him problems. But with um, Jennifer Walters, the She-Hulk, sometimes she's called the Savage She-Hulk, but mostly, I think she's more popular as the sensational She-Hulk. Jennifer Walters, she is not. She does not become a rage monster when she um, turns green most of the time. But that's another difference I got to get across. She's always green, you know. Unlike Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner, when he's what's his famous quote from the TV show? Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. That's because when you make him angry, he transforms into the Hulk and he cleans house. But She-Hulk, she's always green. She's always the Hulk, and she's in full control of herself. She's in full control of her emotions, of her power. She's not out of control like Bruce Banner is. So if anything, that right there should be a strong feminist statement that she has the power of the Hulk and she controls all of it with no problem. She's perfectly in control. And but I think the problem that feminists have with She-Hulk is that she is a beautiful, beautiful character, a sexy character. Not only is she strong, but she is attractive. And I think that's too much for feminists to handle, since um, many of them feel like they're entitled to be seen as attractive, even when they're not attractive, and they can't stand the fact that they're not attractive. And like a lot of women, they can't really stand the idea or the thought of actually being rejected. With men, we grow up knowing that we have to put our um, selves, put our pride, and put um, our dignity on the line by approaching females and trying to court them. And the women have the privilege of being able to say yes or no. But switch that around, reverse it. Can a woman handle being rejected by a man? Is she courageous enough to approach a man and let him know that she's interested and risk knowing that she's risking humiliation or embarrassment when she's turned down? But back to She-Hulk's appearance. This is typically how she's drawn, as a very built but female, feminine shape, and it's let's just get the let's just see what they've turned her into here. nowadays see the big green monster in the back. If she, the only thing I could say for this new version of She-Hulk, which they just simply call the Hulk now, they don't want to call her She-Hulk anymore because that um because they don't want to. Okay, here's another thing about feminists. They're hypocritical in a way that they would like to say that there's no difference between male and female. There's no difference between a man and a woman. Yet at the same time, they feel put down when there's a man in a position of power, or a man seems to be getting over, or a man seems to be getting praise where they feel like a woman should be there. But then at the same time, they'll say that there's no difference between a man and a woman. Then why are you upset when a man gets something and a woman doesn't? And why is it that women are trying so hard to be masculine if there's no difference between a man and a woman, a male and female? And they say, well, they want equality. Well, equality is not the same as being the same. All right, it's different. We're equal, but we're not the same. But they insist on sameness and call it equality when they're two different things. So She-Hulk was equal to the Hulk, but that wasn't enough for them. They had to make her the same as the Hulk. So now She-Hulk is no longer in control of her rage. She's no longer in control of her power. She's all muscled out, and she's really just the Hulk with, can't even say a female body these days, because to these crazy people, there's no difference between a male and a female. So they took what was wonderful about her character to make her more like her male counterpart, and that's progress to these people. They destroyed what was unique about her and what was beautiful about her. Even though I have to admit, I do like the way this artist drew her face and her hair. At least that's feminine. But you see, she has her normal, or her usual, her former self in a chokehold, and this is supposed to be portraying some kind of conflict here, as if she's um like almost wrestling with her old self, or wrestling with her new self and losing to her new self. But they don't seem to be going back from the direction that they're on. Now see, here's another picture of what they want to do with She-Hulk. Okay, I tried to zoom in more on her, but I don't know if I can. So they basically turned her into a female version of the Hulk now, and destroy what was great about her character. And this is why I say feminists actually hate female characters. They hate feminine characters, and they ruin great female characters, and they produce crap characters. So there's no difference between She-Hulk now. Now there's no difference between her and her male counterpart, Bruce Banner, the original Hulk. And to them that's a good thing, that there's no difference anymore. Now they've made Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk, even more expendable, even more forgettable than she was before, because they couldn't have her be feminine and beautiful and yet still as strong as the Hulk, and in full control of her power, full control of her emotions. They actually regressed her and called it progress. I'm going back to the original image because this is the way I want to remember the She-Hulk. She's not a female version of the Hulk. She's different. She's her own character. And she's a great character. She was a great character, at least before the feminists got a hold of her, and the young, what do you call it? The young, the YA, what is that? YA, what is that? Young author, or young, I can't remember what it is, but the YA author I believe her name was Tamiko, or was it Mariko? I can't remember exactly, but Mariko, I don't know. But she ruined the character. She ruined the character, and she called it progress. And Marvel sees nothing wrong with characters like this. I wish we can go back to the days where a woman could be a woman and she can be beautiful and we can compliment her on her beauty. Oh, and look, the guy in the back, let's just say this is another thing that infuriates the feminists. That a guy would actually, I'm talking about this guy in the lower left corner down there, that a man would actually look on a woman and say she's beautiful. However, at the same time, they don't want you to call them beautiful, or oh no, they want you to if they're out of shape and they're undesirable. Then you have to accept them as beautiful. You have to um, embrace them as just as beautiful as the woman who keeps herself in shape. And so they're hypocritical in that way, that they hate that a man can look at a woman and say she's beautiful. At the same time, they desire that a man look at a woman and think she's beautiful. And now you can't even compliment a woman on her beauty anyway, because for all you know, she may not want you to compliment her, and then you have made unwanted sexual advances on that woman just by complimenting her. So I'm an old fashioned guy. I hold the door open for women. I actually hold the door open for everybody that I see coming. If there's somebody coming behind me, I hold the door open for them. But it's to the point now that I think twice when I do it, because I don't know how that woman is going to react when I hold the door open for her. And an interesting thing is that yesterday I was picking up my son from daycare, and there was an African American woman and her son leaving, and and he plays with my son at the daycare, and she was training him to hold the door for her. And I was thinking, well, yeah, cool, that's great, that's what she should be doing. But at the same time, I'm like, she's setting him up for the way this world is going. She's actually setting him up for trouble, because these so-called strong, independent women don't need a man to hold the door for them anymore, or don't want a man to hold the door for them anymore, right? So, while I thought what she was doing was a good thing, and I would do it too, and I will do that for my son. I will tell him that he should be doing things like that. However, women these days don't appreciate it anymore. They're entitled. They feel like they have the, I don't know, whatever. I'm not going to get up into all of that. I'm way off of She-Hulk now. So anyway, thanks for listening. And yeah, I think I'll say a little bit about Princess Leia after all, and talk about how Star Wars ruins female characters, and how that franchise, if they don't turn it around, um, they are going to ruin the next generation's idea of what makes a character great. And it's a shame that children are growing up with these twisted ideas of what a great character should be. So anyway, thanks for listening.